What's up, everybody? It's me, Melanie Mac here, and welcome to my new channel, Melanie Mac Go Boom. Thank you all so much for all of the support you've been giving me. I'm seeing this channel grow a lot faster than I anticipated, and I am just so honored. So thank you so much. This has been really fun doing this daily and keeping up with you all daily. This is great. I'm about it. So today we're going to talk about more Lord of the Rings / Amazon's Rings of Power. This has been quite the discussion for us lately. Now, I've shared a lot of my opinions on this. I have 2 videos on this now? 2 or 3? Nah, 3. 3. They're giving me a lot of content here. So, the good news is I got plenty to talk about on this channel. Even though the bad news is that they are absolutely ruining Tolkien's universe here. But, a good thing the fans are standing up. So, because of some of the backlash, now they're trying to do a little bit of damage control, and they're trying to gaslight us into thinking this is what Tolkien would have wanted. So let's go ahead and read this, shall we? So, Collider's article says, The Lord of the Rings of Power showrunner explains Warrior Galadriel. Okay, now they're trying to make Warrior Galadriel make sense. So, co-showrunner Patrick McKay recently revealed new story details about Galadriel, one of the main characters of Prime Video's The Lord of the Rings of Power. Galadriel first appeared in live action in Peter Jackson's The Fellowship of the Ring as a serene elf leader. Blah, blah, blah. We know this. Okay, so however, since the upcoming series is set thousands of years before the films will get to see a hot-headed version of the character. According to Vanity Fair, showrunners McKay and J.D. Payne wanted to explore Galadriel's life before she took the position of Queen of the Elven Kingdom of Lothlorien. However, while the show is taking some liberties, just a little bit, with J.R.R. Tolkien's body of work, like compressing centuries of different events into a single point in time, the idea of a warrior Galadriel actually comes from the original author's mind. That's where the gaslighting happens, because no, warrior Galadriel does not. And this is why, when you have mainstream covering nerd-type topics, this is why you need some nerds on your team, dude. You need some gamers, or you need some nerds, or you need somebody, because anybody will tell you, you're going to swap the entire class of the character. That's a giant no-no, because the character classes, when it comes to fantasy or anything like that, play a huge role. It plays a big role in the character and their personality and all that kind of stuff. And the way I kind of paralleled this is changing Galadriel from a mage class to a warrior class and trying to pass that off as, oh, it's okay, but she was hot-headed. Yeah, okay, well, you can make her hot-headed and still keep her a mage. Why couldn't you do that? Hire some MMO player. Find some WoW nerd. You could have saved yourself a lot of trouble. Look at this. This is something I just put together. To me, what if they're like, oh, we're gonna make Legolas a bard now, okay? It's still Legolas, but he's a bard now. He's gonna play his instrument and he's gonna sing to the Fellowship, all right? And it's gonna give them so much motivation that it's gonna make them fight stronger. But it's still Legolas, don't worry. Still Legolas, but he's a bard now. In a letter from 1973, Tolkien compares Galadriel with Amazon warrior and reveals that her name references her athletic endeavors. Nobody cares that she's athletic. Nobody said she couldn't be athletic. Just freaking keep her a mage, my dudes. In the Elven language, Sindarin, Galadriel means maiden crowned with gleaming hair. A nod to how she braided her hair into a crown to get more freedom during combat. Dude, they're really trying to stretch this to make sense. They are working hard. Harder than they did on actually making things accurate. At the start of the Rings of Power, Galadriel will have to deal with the turmoil inside herself after surviving multiple attacks by the dark god Morgoth and his general Sauron. While she's still standing after a war that almost burned Middle-earth to the ground, she lost her brothers and friends trying to take Morgoth down, which only feeds her rage. As McKay describes the elven warrior, she's full of piss and vinegar, and she's got a sword that's broken, because she's killed so many orcs. McKay also teases how the series will deal with Galadriel's transformation into a peaceful leader. In McKay's words, this young hot-headed Galadriel, how did she ever become that elder stateswoman? It's as if they're just so out of touch. They're so out of touch here. Where they think, oh, we don't like her because she's not peaceful. That's it. No. Although Galadriel is usually depicted as one of the people defending Middle-earth from evil, the Elven Queen has also coveted the power of the One Ring. Yes, we've seen that. We've seen it. And we've seen, in that portrayal of her, we've seen that side, that hot-headed side, but also that scary side. I mean, you didn't want to mess. That was quite possibly the most terrifying moment of all of Peter Jackson's trilogy there, when you saw that in her face, and her face changed a little bit, and that, like, yeah, that was very scary. It was very intimidating, far more than just giving her armor and turning her into a warrior could ever do. So yeah, looks like they're trying to explain themselves out of this one. It probably could have helped if they consulted with more people. It looks like the OneRing.net or whatever is constantly going to bat for them, but they've worked together on things, and, they should have worked with more people to consult with and more fans and things of that nature without any sort of bias involved. It definitely would have made a big difference, but I think it just shows how out of touch things are, and this is what's so frustrating whenever these big corporations adapt some of our favorite nerd properties and they just butcher them. And they don't understand. You could get any LARPer, any World of Warcraft player even. They would know better than to completely change the class of a character in a fantasy universe. This is like Nerd 101, okay? It's the basics. It is Fantasy Nerd 101. Not that complicated. But here we are. And, it's going to be funny hearing them try to explain everything else, too. Because, my goodness, if what we've already seen is any indication, I don't know what they're going to have to try to do to clean this one up. Because it's not looking too good for them so far. So, let me go ahead and read some comments now from my videos. So, Jay says, Galadriel literally is a mage, not a warrior. Yes. Exactly. And Chris says, Army brats unite. How many places did you see? 7 for me, 5 stateside, 2 overseas. For me, I want to say, see, that's the thing, is I've moved so many times. But while my dad was in the Army, we moved, I want to say like 6 different states, 6 or 7 different states in the U.S. My dad had some terms overseas, but those were solo, that we weren't able to attend with him. Well, partially because most of them except one was combat situations. All right, so let's continue. Spitshine Sneakers says, regarding Galadriel, I think what they may be trying to go for is that when Galadriel first came to Middle-earth, she was much more ambitious and power-hungry, which we see lingering elements of when she was tempted by the ring. But much of that would have been already settled by the end of the First Age, when she saw how badly she and her people messed up. Second Age Galadriel should be much more similar to Third Age than First Age. And that's not even addressing the fact that, as the singular most powerful magic user in Middle-earth, there's no reason for her to resort to close combat. Very well. Very well said. Emily here, now this was in regard to another topic about video game characters and ARC, the journalists being upset that they were too hot, like the girls. Emily says, I really don't get why people who did not actively play video games or have any intent to jump into the video game medium / subculture love to dictate people who are buying and playing video games, how they should portray people or how their stories should be told and stuff like that. It's dumb. And in my personal opinion, I think it's one of the many big factors that are kind of ruining games for me personally and have been for the last couple years. I felt that. Definitely felt that. I feel like so many, when it comes to games and stuff like that, they're trying to appeal to people on Twitter who don't even necessarily buy these games or play these games. And the woke crowd, they're not actively participating in said games as much as others. So it is frustrating to see things being pandered toward them when they're not even that in it. Mackie says, New World has exact depictions of female characters Kotaku wants. Somewhere between looking like a man and an amorphous blob. And guess what? The amount of women playing that game is basically zero for that exact same reason. Whereas Final Fantasy XIV and Lost Ark are very popular with women. And I believe it. I just know for myself, if I'm going to play as a female character, I might, honestly, even though I play as a male character, I like to make them hot. It's just fun. It's fun to play as hot characters. And yeah, I think that's very telling. I don't know the demographics exactly and all the statistics behind that, but I 1000% believe this because I know myself, I don't want to play as ugly characters. All right, and there's the comments there. So let me move on into my verse of the day, as I like to do. Isaiah 38:17, which says, Behold, it was for my welfare that I had great bitterness. But in love you have delivered my life from the pit of destruction. For you have cast all my sins behind your back. Good, uplifting stuff. So, all right, there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'd love to see what you think in the comments below, and maybe I will feature one in a future video. Thank you again. I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, go boom.